What's the most effective thing you can A/B test on your Shopify product page to improve your conversion rates? Is it, for example, the title? Is it the images? Is it the add to cart button? Maybe it's the color of the add to cart button, as some people insist. Or is it really your description and your GIFs and the reviews at the bottom of the page? Or maybe it's the layout of the entire product page. And I actually think it's really none of the above. Statistically, the most effective thing that you can A/B test is your price. This small number right here, and I think it's a pretty intuitive point, is the number one determinant if a customer will actually check out. All the other variables are important and they matter, but if you had to choose one A/B test to run first, then price would be the one because it influences everything else. And of course, the customer sees the product and description and everything else in the context of how much they would need to pay for it. So how do you actually A/B test this price and determine what the perfect sweet spot is for your store? So let me show you how we did this for this store as a case study, and I think you can apply it also to your store or generally. And what we did, right, so to give you a bit of context, we ran this, this was actually a while back. The store was at its peak making around 200K a month, and actually it crashed because it was really a COVID product. But this is when we were really doing those A/B tests to kind of really figure out what the sweet spot is. And there's a bunch of apps that allow you to specifically A/B test price, right? So if you go to the Shopify App Store and you just type in A/B testing price, right? I actually have the App Store open here. If you just type in A/B test price, you'll see all the apps that currently do that. We use an app called Dexter, but again, by no means are they the best one. They're just one of the options that were available. And what those apps allow you to do is send the traffic to your product page, regardless of where it's coming from Facebook, from Google ads, from TikTok ads, whatever it might be, and splits it 50-50. And the only variable that it changes is your price, right? It keeps all the other variables the same, right? Again, your images, your description is exactly the same. So you isolate just the variable of price, and so that you're able to run the cleanest possible test in terms of figuring out how does the price increase or decrease actually influence the behavior of your customers. So what we did here, right, is we had the original price back then of $69.95, and we tested the new price of $79.95, and we sent around 5,000 visitors to both. And what we saw is that actually here the original price did better, right? That the revenue per 100 visitors is still significantly higher. And by the way, this isn't the perfect metric. There's other metrics, but it's the first proxy to determine that the original price is still more effective, and that increasing it just by $10, the customers were too price sensitive to that, right? And enough of them dropped off where the performance actually decreased. But then we ran another test comparing $69.95 with, if you notice, the current price, $74.95, which actually stayed that price since then. And that $74.95 price actually did better than the $69.95, right? Not only was our conversion rate better, but we actually were then able, once we actually changed the price, to sell every single item for $5 more per item, which of course increased our profitability, right? Because our margin literally just increased by $5 since our cost stayed the same when we just increased the price. And that's an extremely powerful tool, right? Because you, and also what we did, right, is that you can keep on testing in increments of 5 or 10 or whatever your product is, depends obviously. You can go up and down that demand elasticity curve, right, and figure out what the exact sweet spot is of where your conversion rate is at its peak and where you can optimize your profits. All the other variables matter, right? But again, I would argue that this is the first A/B test to start, and then once you nail the price, you can A/B test the headline, the images, and add to cart button, and everything else. So I guess that's my question to you. When was the last time you actually increased or decreased the price of your main product, and why? Before you bounce, get a free valuation of your Shopify store. Just fill in the 2-minute form below, and our team will get back to you within 24 hours with a detailed valuation for your store. Also, check out other free resources on our website, artikunooptimization.com, to automate and scale your Shopify store.